everybody, welcome back to the Chaotic Little Book Corner. Welcome back to the Chaotic Little Book Corner. My name is Acacia. Today we're going to be doing the top 5 books that I read this summer. If you have not already seen my summer book tag challenge that Amanda Center tagged me in, please just go back and watch yesterday's video. I'll link it down below if you're watching this later on. I did it so late in the game that it's already fall, and I based it around things that have already happened in this summer, and I really didn't feel like just lengthening that, and I figured, hey, what's a good opportunity to do a top 5? This is. So this is the top 5 books that I've read this summer, and some of them might surprise you. Some of them are probably not going to surprise you. So I am going to judge from about the first week in September back to the first week in June as my kind of general time frame. So let's jump into it. The first one, and these are in no particular order because I can't do top 5 like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not things I can do. This is the Portable Dublin by Elizabeth Mackenzie. I definitely loved this. It was quirky. It was wonderful. Wes Anderson and Amelie had a baby, and it involves squirrels, and I'm so obsessed with it, and anything that I can get my hands on that's Elizabeth, I am in. I know I just mentioned her last week with this same book, but, like, guys, I love this book. I really do, and I don't think I've heard anybody else talk about it in a positive light, and I don't really understand why. I absolutely adored it. Next is this. This is The Darkest Child by Dolores Phillips. I loved this. It was really, really dark, though. It was really heart-wrenching. I thought it was beautifully written, wonderfully executed, absolutely phenomenal, and the amount of time that I put into it was really, really nice. I was able to get through it in like a day and a half because I was in the middle of a readathon, but like, it broke my heart and it sewed it back up again, but it was still absolutely breathtaking, wonderful goodness. It is about a young woman who is named... Why can I not remember her name for the life of me? Names are just not a good thing I'm at. Like, I'm just not good at it. Not good at all. Tangi May. So Tangi May is a young girl who is helping her mother collect money because her mom is... I don't want to say her mom's lazy, but her mom's not the best human. Her mom has 3 different children. Well, she has a lot of children, but she separates them into categories. She has her white babies, her Indian babies, and her dark babies. Tangi May, unfortunately, is one of the dark babies, and she treats them the worst out of anything and out of anyone. She makes them... It's intolerable how she treats them, and this is the story of Tangi May and her life in the South during the 1950s, and it's beautiful. I adore this. Highly recommend, especially if you're trying to expand your knowledge of the Black culture and community and the history of Black people in America. Next is this. This is Dorothy Allison's Bastard Out of Carolina, one of my new top books of all time. The next one after this is also the same thing. One of the best books of all time for me. This was beautiful, breathtaking, wonderful, dark, morbid, crazy. It was heart-wrenching and it just broke me. But by the end, the character Bone, who is the main character, I felt so connected to her and so much like I wanted to protect her from everything she'd gone through that it was so hard to stomach this book. I think it's one of the best Southern books I've ever read. It was dark and twisted and I absolutely adored it. So it's the story of a young girl named Bone who is with her family, and she's okay, everything's kind of normal, and then her mother gets married, and things go downhill from there, and the gentleman treats her terribly, and her life just becomes out of control. Please understand there are trigger warnings in this. Please be aware of that. Beautiful. Ooh, so good, so good, so good. Bone is like my bae. Bone is my little girl. I love her. And then Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I plan to read everything Daphne du Maurier I can get my hands on at this point because love, obsessed. If anyone has a recommendation of the next Daphne du Maurier I should read, link it down below. I've already read the Birds collection. I plan to read another one during the Halloween time, whenever that book can possibly happen. I don't know, but next month I hope to read another Daphne du Maurier. This is the story. Does anyone know? Not know? Oh, I don't really want to ruin anything, so I'll just give a quick blurb. A woman and her husband have run away from a home, and in that home a lot of terrible things happened. This is the story of a woman named Rebecca from the perspective of the wife who comes after Rebecca has passed. It's gothic, it's creepy, it's gorgeous, it's awesome, stunning. Stunning. Last, certainly not least, and this one might be a shock to you guys. Or maybe not. This is Down the Rabbit Hole by Holly Madison, The Curious Adventures and Cautionary Tales of the Former Playboy Bunny. I adore this book. I've now listened to it 3 times on Audible. I went out and purchased the hardcover edition because, well, honestly, I wanted it, and then I was like, well, I have the paperback, and then Hannah Tay was like, oh, I want this book, so I was like, perfect, I'll send it to her, so that's coming towards Hannah. But this is absolutely beautifully executed. I think you can look at this with 2 different ways. I think you can look at it through the glasses of a woman who went into a situation of a patriarchal society not understanding what it was actually like and how to get out of it after you've kind of lost yourself in this awful world of gossip and craziness. Or you can look at it as a shallow book. It doesn't really help to look at it as shallow and to look at it as the depth that she's learned and what she's come through and her story after and her survival and her overcoming odds and just genuinely surviving a serious situation that was seriously traumatic. I don't know how many times I can say seriously, but it was her situation was so traumatic, and it's so underappreciated that some of the women in the Playboy Mansion are so traumatized and so damaged by what happens in that mansion. And we don't understand that even though they're going through what we think is a glamorous lifestyle, it's actually really horrible for them. And I think this really well executes that and explains that. And it shows some really terrible bullying, sexual assault, and absolutely terrible misogynistic behavior. It's important, it's valuable, it's wonderful, and don't judge a book by its cover here. I love the cover personally, but I think that the depth of it is kind of overshadowed by the fact that it's very pink. But I think there's no other cover that would have suited it better. At the same time, I think some people overlook it because it looks shallow. It's not shallow, guys. Pick it up. Give it a chance. Holly is a survivor and a strong, very strong woman, and I think she's learned how to be a feminist at this point, and I think you can't go wrong with some. You can't be mad at someone who's had to learn how to be a feminist, because we can't all be born people who understand our value. We just can't, sadly. A lot of women don't get born with the understanding that they have a value as a woman, and some people have to learn it, and it sucks, but it's true. And that's a really good depiction of a woman who learned her value. I will talk to you guys in my next video. I love you all.